Hey guys, Big Red 310's back here again to talk about Wrestlemania weekend and a little bit of Ring of Honor here and there. First I want to say that it's been a while, and I know it's been a while, but I do miss coming on here, and I've just been... I don't want to just come on here every 2 months, say I'm extremely busy, top 100 matches will be out soon, and I'll try to make more videos, and then I don't see you guys again for another 2 months. But legitimately, I could say this with certainty. I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be really busy. But the day I get out of school, which is like a month from today, I will not be extremely busy, because before I start internships, before I go back to my job, which to pay for WrestleMania weekend next year, I'm going to spend like 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, like literally just not having any responsibility. I'll obviously still be a kid. I'll be a teenager. I'm not a teenager anymore. God damn. It's still crazy to think about. I won't be a teenager. I'll be a 20-year-old. And I'll still do what 20-year-olds do, but I'm not going to have any pending responsibility and have a lot of time to catch up, which is, I think, why I've been so slow. After all, Albert Einstein said, insanity, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. For 3 years now, I've been really behind on wrestling, and every year I'm always like, God, I'm catching up, no worries, but I do the same thing that I did the previous year, and I stay behind. So that's why this year I changed things up a bit. For Ring of Honor, I was really behind on shows, so instead of starting over from The Hunt Begins to Final Battle 2013, I started from the middle of the year. I started from, what was that show called? A Night of Hoopla. I started from there and moved forward, and I'm still going to plan on watching the first 8 shows of the year, but they're no longer a priority, and I can watch them whenever I want, because they're going to be old no matter what. And now, because I skipped that first half, now I'm almost caught up with ROH. I've seen every show from 2013 except Final Battle, and this year they've had an pay-per-view and like 5 house shows, and I was just at Supercard of Honor and their next TV taping, so I already saw those parts of their product, so I'm very close to getting caught up on ROH. Gabe and PWG are going to take a while, I won't lie, but I'm not going to release top 100. Top 100 match of the year won't be a big deal this year. I'm still going to do it, but I'm probably going to include it like in one twit longer length, the entire list, and talk about it for like 5 minutes, because I'm going to release it whenever I fully catch up on everything. That way, yeah, top 100 may not get released till like, August, but if I do it this way, I feel then come 2015, 2016, I'll be starting off caught up instead of doing the top 100, working so hard to make sure it comes out late, but not so late, and yet still be behind on all the shows. So that's the plan. Why do I always waste the first 3 minutes of my videos talking about shit that's not going to change, most likely? I'm going to try, though. I'm really going to try to fix all these things. WrestleMania weekend. The weekend was incredible. Actually, before I get to that, I'll do the other stuff. In the description box, you'll see a few reviews for ROH. I don't know how many of these shows I'm reviewing. I'm just putting them in the description box, and I'm just putting them in the description, as many that I can fit in the description box. I have no idea, how many shows I'm going to be able to cover. I also saw a bunch of Kevin Steen shows. Those were good. And I saw the Wrestling Classic from the network. So for ROH, I'll just very quickly. TV, it's good. It's always good. I've always put over the ROH TV. Davey Richards versus Ricky Marvin was a damn good match, and everyone needs to check that out on episode number 110 on ROH TV. As far as their house shows during the fall of 2013, A New Dawn was very good. Very surprised by the quality of that show. Just so many good matches. The opener was the best match on the show with Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, 2 very underrated guys. And everything was just good and fun throughout the show. A lot of good matches, a lot of 3-star matches, as you can see. Even the Triple Threat was a lot of fun. Very, very good, consistent show. Charm City Challenge, probably the most underrated show of the year last year. I don't think anybody saw this show, which is a shame, because the main event of Cole and Strong is probably the best non-Michael Elgin Adam Cole singles match, non-gimmick that I've seen in ROH, at least. I think this match has been the best match of his title reign, even though I haven't seen the Final Battle match yet. I think this match is really strong. The Jacobs and Mike Bennett match is like the best Mike Bennett match I've ever seen in Ring of Honor. I think this is up there with the Lance Storm matches. Jimmy Jacobs was on a roll in the fall. Kevin Steen versus ACH, very, very good match as well. Just a lot of good stuff on that show. Just a really, really fun show with a lot of really good matches. Definitely, I put over that one. Glory by Honor, again, really good, really consistent. Paul London vs. Roderick Strong is an awesome match. And the main event, it's like the 2-hour match or whatever, the 90-minute match. I thought it was very good. I really liked it. I have nothing really bad to say about it. I mean, I thought I would like it more, but it was still pretty good. And the Golden Dream, I don't know if the Golden Dream is going to be on this goddamn review, but the Golden Dream, kind of disappointing. Very good show. Very good show. Roddy and Jimmy Jacobs is another great match, and ACH Davey Richards is very, very good, and that's mostly due to ACH. He just did some great stuff in this match. Matt Taven had one of his better TV title defenses, so you would think that the show would be on its way to being one of the best shows of the year, but the three-way dance I thought was too short, and I thought for a semi-main event it should have went longer. It was still fun. It was still a good match. It was still enjoyable, but I don't know. I thought for a semi-main event it kind of fell flat. And the main event, I think, is arguably the worst Ring of Honor main event ever. And I'm a huge fan of Kevin Steen, and I really like Jay Briscoe, but this match was just no buys. It was short. It was only like 14 minutes. And that shouldn't be a bad thing. Like, almost all of Chikara's main events are that short, and they get really good ratings from me. But it just kind of felt like it felt like they worked a 25-minute match and just, like, cut out the middle 10 minutes. Like, the first 7 minutes of this match is, like, very methodical, very slow, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm fine with that. And, like, they were there, they were selling and all that stuff. And then, like, the first 3 minutes started out, like, really hot. And they started, like, throwing each other into barricades, stuff like that. Then the next, like, 8 to 10 minutes were very slow and methodical. And then the last 2 minutes were them hitting finishers on each other. Like, it was just very weird. Like, it was, like I said, it was like a 25-minute match where they just cut out the middle 15 minutes of the match. So they did the selling and then went, like, with no, like, really build-up to it. They just kind of started hitting finishers on each other. And the match was just weird, and the finishers didn't look good. And yeah, I was very disappointed about this match. I think this is one of the worst Ring of Honor main events in a while. I know Jay's probably still hurt, but still, I expected a lot better from this. It was a good show. All of Delirious' shows are good. I've had this argument. I think I've said this before on here. Every single Delirious booked wrestling show is, like, gonna be a 7, no matter what. Like, no matter if the show means nothing, and no matter if it's a huge super show, it's gonna be between a 7 and a 7.75. That's how the shows are structured so that every match is consistent, and that the last 2 matches maybe get a little more time to be something more than that. But either way, just a bunch of good shows from Delirious, a bunch of fun shows from Delirious. People have been down on him. I think the reason people are down on him is because the big shows don't feel that great. But I think conversely, the small shows feel really big, and I think that's definitely important. So yeah, maybe the big shows like Final Battle, Supercard of Honor, like All-Star Extravaganza, Death Before Dishonor, all these shows were pretty much on the same level. Maybe if these shows should be, like, they had that extra something that crossed them over that barrier, people wouldn't be as down. But either way, I can appreciate good booking when I see it. And there was definitely some good booking on these shows. The Kevin Steen shows, holy crap, I haven't reviewed Elimination Chamber? God damn. Well, anyways, the Elimination Chamber, the Shield versus the Wyatt family is my current match of the year. That match was incredible. That match was insane. I really, really had a great time watching it. All those guys are super talented. Big E versus Jack Swagger is the most underrated match of 2014. Big E is so good, in my opinion. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he's very different from Ryback, Ezekiel Jackson, and all these other muscular guys. Like, he has something, I feel. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but I think he really should be protected more than he is. And the Elimination Chamber match was great. I thought a lot of great spots. Cesaro looked awesome in it. Christian was really good in it, too. The finish made a lot of sense. I really liked it. So, yeah, a very good show from WWE. I would give it a higher rating than what I did, but it's just the undercard was just so bad. Like, there's just so many bad matches on this undercard. But there was some really good stuff, too. So I'm giving it a 7.5. I think that's fair. But, yeah, good stuff from WWE. Kevin Steen show, all these are really good. I'm a really big mark for Kevin Steen, and I'm a big mark for some of these shoot interviews. As far as they were all pretty good for the most part. They were all very informative. Sorry about that. They were all very informative. The best one I would say was the Jimmy Jacobs and Truth Martini. That video is fucking hilarious. Everyone needs to watch that. As far as the rest of them, the Young Bucks one I remember really liking. I remember really liking Drake Younger. He's very inspirational. And the Davey Richards one was great too. You really learn a lot about Davey. He's an interesting character, I feel. And then the Wrestling Classic. I have not got to see any shows from the network. I watch matches here and there, but I haven't got to see a full old school show. So I put on the Wrestling Classic. Every match is like 3 minutes long. So I tried to judge it differently than how I would judge wrestling today. And that's not doing it the trademark way by, oh yeah, I recognize wrestlers in the 1980s were different from wrestlers today. A match goes 4 minutes, star and a half, like he did. I'm actually just... in those 3 to 4 minutes, is the match good? Is it very good? Is it bad? Is it decent? How is it? So almost all these matches are really short, but I still tried to sum up the action in their time span with a few words. As far as highlights go, Ricky Steamboat, all the Ricky Steamboat matches are very good. Against Savage, against Davey Boy, those were all really good. The Savage Dynamite Kid match was very good. That was a lot of fun to watch in the time it went. Bob Orton and Norendorf, I really like. The Hulk Hogan match I remember really liking as well. Hogan and Piper, I thought that match was very, very good. I really enjoyed watching that one. That actually went like a good amount of time. That went like 15 minutes because it was Hogan. Junkyard Dog and Savage had a good main event, if I remember correctly. Weird finish, but again, that's just me viewing wrestling with a 2014 brain when I should be watching with a 1980s brain. Junkyard Dog versus Moondog Spot was no good. But everything else was fun, solid, good, enjoyable. I had a really good time watching the show. It's good watching some old school wrestling from time to time. So yeah, watch that show when you can. The Wrestling Classic. It's the first ever WWE pay-per-view ever. So yeah. As far as WrestleMania, I had a really good time last weekend. I met a lot of great people that I don't get to see often. Whether it be like Assault and Battery. Freaking Yaya. I'm just trying to call these guys by their YouTube names. Justin Bryan. He was great to hang out with. The Boston Brothers. Those guys are so cool. For Real Christian Kirkland, I believe his name is. He was really good. He was really cool. That sounds weird. LV, of course. I got to see LV again, like I always do. I saw Trademark again. I saw Soda Popinski 82, Next Big Thing, who most of you probably don't know, and Instant Classic 8. He was also really cool to see too. It was just great seeing everybody on the weekend. I had a lot of fun, more so than the actual shows. Just being in New Orleans with all those people. I was there for a long time. I was there for almost 6 days, and just like hanging around New Orleans with them and going out to eat with them and just interacting with them. It was really great. Wrestling, what's his name? Brandon, Instant Classic on Twitter was talking about how important the business is to us and how no one will understand. And this weekend made me realize that, there's a connection there. Because of the intricate nature of our connection with wrestling, there's a connection we have with other fans. And it's not that we love them more than our family or we like wrestling fans more than our own friends, but it's just different. It's very different. And when you only get to experience that connection with these people once a year, you really tend to value it. So that's all I'm going to say for the weekend. I encourage everybody to come next year to San Jose. I'm probably going. For those who think it's really expensive, come on. It's nearly the same price to fly anywhere in the United States. When I bought my ticket to New Orleans, I looked up the price to go to San Jose at the same time on the same day, and it was the exact same price. Like, come on. If you can always find a cheap flight if you try for it. This argument that San Jose is expensive is absurd, because the flight to San Jose, just because San Jose is far, doesn't mean it's twice as expensive to get there if it were as opposed to being on the East Coast. So I would really recommend going, saving up. It's a great time, and like I said, you get to be a part of something that you don't only get to be a part of once a year. And I had a fantastic time with them. I'm going to see them next year as well. I encourage you all to come. We're very open. We always try to, hang out with new people when we see them from our community, and please come. It's a lot of fun. As far as the shows that I went to and the stuff I didn't do anything like really extravagant. I just saw a lot of wrestling. I went to Evolve. I went to ROH, both the Supercard of Honor and the TV taping. And I went to Dragon Gate USA on Saturday night, and I went to WrestleMania. As far as the indie shows, I thought this was one of the worst years for indie shows at WrestleMania weekend. I don't want to make that sound like I didn't have a good time, because I did, but it's just that none of the shows were really like special, really great, really blow away, and there was no match that I saw that I would consider to be that great takeaway match. Like last year had the great Dragon Gate USA show. I got to see Chikara live again, which is always special and fun to me. The year before that in Miami was the Elgin Davey Richards match, and the Dragon Gate USA show that weekend was great. Like there's always usually something. But this weekend, this year, I mean, the shows were just all good. Except for Dragon Gate USA on Saturday, which was awful, and Evolve on Thursday was okay. But just like, it wasn't special. It didn't feel different as if I were those shows could have happened like in June or July or May, and I would have had the same opinion about them. They didn't feel like a WrestleMania weekend shows, and I thought that kind of hurt those shows. Like I said, I still had a good time at all of them. Both Ring of Honor shows I really enjoyed. The Supercard of Honor show I thought was very good. Typical ROH formula. You know, everything on the undercard's pretty good, and the main events, if given time, are usually pretty good. But, you know, sometimes they'll be very good to great, depending on the conditions. Steen and Elgin, I was a little disappointed by. I thought it was a very good match. I don't really, I mean, everyone has their own opinion, but I can't really see how that's been decreed as like one of the matches of the weekend. I don't know. I thought it was very good, very good, but I just wasn't wowed by it by others were. Maybe I just had higher expectations. And the Ladder War match I thought was great. That was the best match I saw all weekend, probably. The finish was kind of weird, but I won't let that override the first 22 minutes of the match, which are just insane. I saw Ladder War 3 and 4 and 5 live, 5 being this past weekend, and I thought 5 was better than 3 and 4, at least live. So I would definitely recommend everyone seeing Jay Briscoe or Adam Cole. It's a lot of fun. The R.D. Evans gimmick is my new favorite gimmick in wrestling, and Ring of Honor, that's a given. The TV tapings were fun. Everything was really enjoyable. Everything was really kind of quick. Every match goes 5-6 minutes. But it was fun. Alex Kozlov and Jay Lethal had a very good match. The crowd got really into that, so I would recommend checking that one out when that one comes out. Elgin and Rocky Romero very much disappointed me, but I still enjoyed it for the most part. Evolve on Thursday was whatever. The main event went way too long. It was between Chris Hero and Trent Beretta. It was very long. And it was very long. It was way overbooked, and I just wasn't a fan of it. AR Fox and Caleb Conley had a very, very good match in the other card. That was probably the best match of the night. That match was very, very good. So I would definitely recommend seeing that. Dragon Gate USA on Saturday, no buys. The show was no good. The second match on the show was awful. The first match on the show was Hero, Tanaka, and Roddy Strong against Ricochet, Rich Swann, and AR Fox. I thought I would really like it. The match went on forever. I kind of have a funny story. I was running late to the show, and really late, 20 minutes late to the show. And so on the cab ride over there, I was telling myself, man, I'm going to miss the opener, and I really want to see this match. This is like my favorite match on the card. I get to the show. I sit down next to everybody, and I see them wrestle for 20 minutes. So I was 20 minutes late. And I still saw a 20-minute opener. And in that 20-minute opener that I saw, there was a bunch of comebacks. There was a bunch of heat segments. It just went too long. I know a lot of people liked this match. I couldn't get into it, personally. I know people that sat front row really liked it and thought it was one of the best matches of the whole weekend. I mean, maybe. But from my perspective, it wasn't that good. WrestleMania was awesome, of course. WWE really hit a home run this weekend, as Brandon said. They put on the best show of the weekend, in my opinion. The Daniel Bryan, both matches were great. The moment was fantastic. I nearly came into tears. I was so happy. The Undertaker streak ending, I think people kind of want to hear my thoughts on that. I'm actually fine with it. I actually was more mad that Bray Wyatt lost than when The Undertaker lost. I was shocked, no doubt. I think everyone said this, but that moment of when he got pinned, you can watch it on tape all you want. And I myself have gone back and watched it on tape many times. I will never be able to replicate the reaction inside that building when the ref counted 3. It was like nothing I've ever seen before. And I've watched it back on tape, and it's cool on tape, but it does not at all show the emotion in that building when Taker got pinned. It was just crazy. So, like I said, as soon as I saw it, I was a little sad just being a Taker fan. But I just quickly realized, well, he's probably retiring. And if he's retiring, he should lose his last match, at least I feel. And if you're going to kill the streak, you have to kill it with a heel, because any face that breaks the streak, everybody will resent. So if it's going to be with a heel, you also have to hope that they book the heel properly. It's not as easy to say, it should have been, we needed a young, that's what I've heard everyone say, Brock's a part-timer, we needed a young guy, we needed a young heel. Are you sure about that? You really want to put, Bray Wyatt or, you know, like Wade Barrett or any of these other people like to do it, like, you can't guarantee that the WWE would have booked them well. And if the WWE doesn't book them right, that, in my opinion, makes the streak more meaningless than actually beating it when you have WWE book these characters, these heels, improperly. At least with Lesnar, because he's not around for too long and because he only does certain shows a year, you know they're not going to book him wrong. Yeah, they had him lose to Triple H and then him lose to John Cena, but that's not the same thing. That's what I'm saying. They're going to keep featuring him in main matches. You're not going to see like Brock Lesnar fighting for the Intercontinental title. Like, he's going to main event almost every show he's on. So you have a heel that's guaranteed going to be booked strong. You made him into a monster. Taker's not wrestling anymore. I thought it made sense. Even for Brock. Like, I've heard people say, oh, it made sense, but Brock's not the right guy. Yeah, he was. Like, he's going to be a huge heel coming off of this. The shows that he main events, which he was going to main event anyways, are now going to mean a lot more. I don't really see the problem with it. Like I said, I was just sad because I kind of realized then that I was watching Taker's last match, but I didn't have a problem with it. And it was cool to see live. The match was but it was cool to see live. WrestleMania was great. Raw the next day, I thought Raw was a little too long. I mean, it's a 3-hour show. There was some very good stuff. I know a lot of people who watched it on TV really liked the show. I thought it was good. I saw it with my friend Jacob, and we had a good time, but it did go a little too long. In that I was kind of falling asleep during parts of the show. But it was still a lot of fun. So yeah, WrestleMania weekend, thumbs up. Please, everybody, go and see it next year. Go watch the Kevin Steen shoot interview series. They're all really good. They're all a lot of fun. I've put my recommendations in the description box. Elimination Chamber was good. ROH is still good. And the Wrestling Classic is a very good old school pay-per-view that you all should check out. So after that, for all these reasons, thank you all very much. And hope to be back soon. So yeah, peace, guys.